When will I be good enough to be all I wanna be? When will I be good enough to live my life and be free? When will I dance till the morning lights up my day? When? Vibrations of light, vibrations of hope, vibrations of peace.
Pam, I really felt the urge to connect with you because I realized how important the work is that you're doing here. And having experienced bio-neurofeedback myself,
Right.
I was like, whoa, this is special. We'd love you to share the experiences that people are having as they're coming in here to the EEG Institute. Now, somebody's walking in with post-traumatic stress from an event in their life. What's the first thing that happens to these people?
Proverbially, they are walking through the door at the EEG Institute, and we are treating veterans and active duty service people through our clinicians who go out in the field. But we have programs all over the world who are treating veterans in different kinds of clinical settings, veterans hospitals, on military bases. So the work that's done here that was really initiated by the people who run the EEG Institute are really the pioneers of neurofeedback, has spread all over. And it's just an incredible thing to see the kind of work that's being done in a lot of different kinds of settings. But for veterans who come here, who've been through trauma and are dealing with symptoms that are interfering with a successful life, generally what happens is a veteran will come in and have an evaluation, which is several hours long, where the clinician really focuses on what kind of symptoms they're dealing with that are really the biggest problems. They'll come into a room like this, where they sit in a chair for half-hour sessions. The clinician attaches electrodes to their scalp that don't put anything into your head. They only read your brain waves as they're coming out. And at the same time, the client is watching a monitor, and they can choose to watch a video game or a movie. Basically, the information coming out of their brain is embedded back in what they're looking at. So as they're watching it, for instance, when I do it, I'm watching a movie, and when my brain is not at the right range of functioning, when it's doing something dysfunctional, which will cause, in my case, a migraine, it gets visual feedback because the picture shrinks down and lightens. It gets audio feedback because the sound gets quieter. And then we have tactile feedback as well. We have these teddy bears that you can hold on your lap, and they vibrate, they kind of purr when your brain is doing the right thing, and when it's not, they don't.
How does that connect then with the teddy bear? How does that?
Well, all those things, visual, audio, and tactile feedback, are ways that your brain gets feedback on its own performance. It's almost like, we use an example of learning to ride a bike. You know, as you're riding a bike, you know, you aren't consciously realizing, or especially as you keep going and you learn more and more about it, you're not consciously aware of what is going wrong, but your brain is, and it learns what it needs to do to tell your body to do the function effectively. And so that's what happens here, is basically the brain is getting feedback on its own performance. It sees when it's not doing the right thing. It goes, oh, the brain has a propensity towards health.
Yes.
Because when the brain is working in the right range, it's more effective, you're more clear-headed, dysfunction falls away. It's easier for the brain to operate in a more functional range.
Yes.
And so the brain just learns to do this, and it's like riding a bicycle. Once it's learned it,
trains itself.
Exactly, yeah. And once it's been trained to do it, it constantly goes back to that new standard that it's made for itself instead of the old one, which is dysfunctional. And the goal is to find an optimal range of functioning for that individual that's best for them. So our method is especially clinician-centric. With this clinician-centric approach, you have someone constantly fine-tuning the information that you're getting for you personally to make it especially effective for you. So we get great results out of here. I think it takes 20 sessions for people to really say, okay, I've had improvement along the way, and now this feels like something I want to continue.